I'm going to continue now with texturing my spy gear models. This is the headset that I modeled previously, and I made a couple of small changes. I fixed this piece up right here. I was having some problems with that, and that might be it actually. What I've done to save some time here is I've gone ahead and I've assigned materials to all the parts that I want. So for example, if I click on this, you see it says main body. I'm going to want that with a particular material. This is main body. That piece is main body. This piece I've called headphone cuff. This piece I've called speaker. I've separated that piece out. It's called headphone circle. I've got side button, front buttons, power button, and I've got this as the arm mechanism. That's the arm mechanism. We'll do those the same. I've got this, that I called that the dial, part of the dial. This is, I called that the arm joint. That should be the arm joint. The microphone, the arm itself, and the headband. All right, so I've got my materials all set right here. So if you look at the here drop down list, you can see all those names. So when I export this into Substance Painter, I will be able to work on all of these materials. I probably won't do the whole texturing in this video. I'm going to do the main stuff in Substance Painter, pretty straightforward stuff as well. And then I may come back into Blender and do a little bit more on these buttons and maybe a bit of text. And I'm not certain I'm going to show that. It's very similar in my previous video of the lighter camera. Okay, but if I come up with anything special, then I'll show you. Okay, so I'm going to go back into layout here, and I'm going to select all my model by pressing A, and I'm going to file, export, FBX, and I'm just going to call this headset materials final, and let's put that in export, and I'll export that. Now I'm going to open it in Substance Painter. All right, I'm going to choose new and select headset final and press OK. And that has brought in my model, and you can see all of the materials here. Okay, so if I deselect that, I can unhide it. Before I can start applying materials, I need to bake my mesh maps. So texture settings, I'll come down here, and I'm going to choose bake. I'm going to stick with 1024 for now, bake. And this will go through and create all of the maps that I'm going to need, and then I'm going to have a look at my model and see if I see any problems with it, any edges or creases, seams I think is the word I'm looking for, any strange shadowing, that kind of thing. I can hold down shift and move the light, and it looks okay to me. And of course I had already UV unwrapped my model, and basically for me that's just a question of trial and error. I use a checker texture and I unwrap it. I put a seam here and there, and I usually just do unwrap. Sometimes it's Smart UV Project or some other, and I keep going until I think it looks good. I'm not going to say more about that right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Now the arm itself, which is this piece here, okay, I'm going to delete the main, the default layer here, and I'm going to come over to materials, and I'm going to use this aluminum pure, I believe. I'm going to drag that in. I've got that. Let's go on and move to the main body here. Delete the default layer, and I want to use, I'm going to choose, let's see, I think it's under Smart Materials, I'm not sure. Plastic. This plastic grainy soft. I'm going to use that material. Throw that on there, and you can see that it's gone there. I think I'll put that on the headband itself, so I'll come up to the headband, delete that, and just drag it in, and that looks fine to me. I believe I'm going to put that on the headphone cuff as well. Okay, let's get some of this black stuff going here. So for the microphone, let's say. For that, I'm going to use plastic rubber, I think. And the joint pieces, oh, where's that? Let's try that there as well. Let's try that also on the arm joints. And let's see, where else? Well, let's go to the side button here. I'm going to use that. And again, like I say, I may do something different with the buttons. I don't know about that one, but these ones probably in Blender. So let's go ahead and, for now though, put that plastic rubber on there. And I'm going to probably do it on the power button as well, just so I get a sense of how this is starting to look. Okay, now the speaker, I could probably use that plastic rubber on that as well. See what that looks like. I think that's what I'm going to go for. And I think on the headphone circle, I'm also going to do that and then put a decal on that. So I'm not sure about that piece. It's going to be very sort of two-tone. See, arm mechanism. I believe I'm going to do that on there. And on the dial. And that's already very close to the effect that I want to go for. I'm thinking about in Blender, I want to do it in Blender, having these buttons kind of glow. Maybe this one is green with an emission. And these, I don't want to do that here. I want to do that in Blender. So that's what I've got. Now I was thinking about putting a decal on here. So I'm going to switch over to orthographic. And I'm going to hold Shift and Alt, I guess, and it clicks into position. I'm going to move my light, hold down Shift and the right mouse button. And I want to put a decal on here. And I want to do it on the headphone circle. Okay. I think I'll create a paint layer. Drag it above. I'm going to go ahead and use an alpha. Let's see. I guess I'm going to import an alpha. This radioactive PNG has transparency. I'm going to bring that in as a texture, I think. And I'm going to bring it into the project import. And so there it is. And I'm going to drag that into the base color. So if I click, you will see it there. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm on the headphone circle. You can see my texture there. I'm going to increase the size and keep coming over here. And I'm going to make it a little bit larger than this circle. So let's try that. It's kind of the effect I'm going for right there. Okay. So I've got that. I'll call this decal. And now what I think I'll do, I want to grunge that up a bit. is I'm going to right click and add a black mask. Add a generator. And for my generator, I'm going to choose grunge. I'm just going to click one of these. I'll get a bit of grunge on my decal there. Okay, so I wanted that. And then I thought maybe I'd do one more thing on here. On the headphone cuff, I want to add one more thing. I'm going to add a fill layer, black mask. On the fill layer, I'm going to choose just height. Drag it down a little bit. You can see I'm getting a little indentation. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to come to alpha. I think I'm going to search for circle. And I'm going to go for, let's think, this one. And let's look in the properties. There it is. Let's slide that all the way up. Okay. So I've got that. I'm going to bring my size down. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on symmetry. And I want to see my axes and my manipulator. I'm going to turn the angle up to 60 and I'm going to turn the count up. Maybe we'll go for 60. I'm going to go for 12. Okay. I'm going to try, I want radial symmetry. Move my manipulator. I'm going to snap to this orthographic view. Pull it in like this. Pull it down. You start to see my in towards the center. Okay. Let's just try. Click. And that's the general effect I'm going for. Turn that off, just to do it. Okay, so let's press the tab key to maximize. Let's hold shift and move the light a bit. Let's come over here and turn on anti-aliasing. And that is what I am coming up with for this. All right, I don't want it too grungy. I just want it to look something like that. And then, like I say, I could come back in here and maybe I'll change these buttons and I'll add a bit of text. That's my model. At this point, what I would need to do, if I'm happy with it for now, is I just come down here, export the textures to somewhere I can find them, and load them in Blender. And I think I'll do that possibly in another video.